All right, in this entire chapter, what we're looking at is we're looking at relations and something that we call functions as well. And you're going to see there's a relationship between them. So mathematically, what is a relationship? A relationship is two or more things that has something in common. That's the important part. They have to have something in common to each other. So what you do here is you associate the elements within one set with that of another set. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look. What is an element? What is a set? A set, think about it. A set is like a set of Lego. I mean, there's a whole collection of objects in there. An element would be a piece of Lego in that set. You see how it works? So a set for Lego would be something, oh, I don't know, like a police station that you're going to make. An element would be something like a door of that police station. You see what I mean? Okay, so let's take that one step further here. And I've got a great representation. Look at something like fruits and their color. See, you have set one, which is the fruits here. You have set two, which are their colors. So take a look at an apple, for example. Apples come in a variety of colors. For example, most apples, when you ask a person, they're going to say red. But there are some apples out there that are actually green apples, right? Look at a blueberry. Well, that was pretty obvious. That's blue. Look at a cherry. Usually they're red, but I know you can get some kind of like white or yellowish looking cherries as well. And this is a huckleberry. I had to look it up on the internet, but I found a nice picture for you there, and I thought that was kind of cool. And that thing is blue as well. All right, so that is two sets, and there are the elements, the individual elements inside a set. Individual element would be apple, blueberry, cherry, and huckleberry. Another element inside the set would be red, green, blue, red, blue. Okay? Now, there's different ways of representing this. You can see that we can represent this using a table. Well, that's what we did here. Okay? Or we can do this using an arrow diagram. Now, I'm pretty sure you've seen these arrow diagrams before, but let's just take a look at this. I've got one right here. Notice that, I'll show you the whole thing. There's the whole thing. It's like a big egg. But what you're going to put in there is you're going to put all of the elements of one set. So in other words, you're going to put apple here. And notice that I know apple shows up twice here and here, but you only need to put it down once. There it is, and I'll show you why in a second. Blueberry is next. So blueberry, and I'm going to go blue B. There we go. Cherry. Cherry is next. There we go. And finally, huckleberry. So I'm just going to go huck B. Okay, now remember the colors. The colors were all there. Let's put the colors in. They were red, green, blue, red, blue. So red, green. Red is already there, so you don't have to put it a second time. And blue. Those were the colors that we saw everything in. Now, all you got to do is put the arrows in, which makes it really, really simple to do. Remember, apples could be red, and apples could be green. Blueberries were always blue. Boom. Cherries were always red. Thunk. And of course, our huckleberries are blue. So there's a nice arrow diagram representation of everything, and it's actually better than a table of values that we had above here because you have no repeats, which makes it really kind of nice. And the arrows kind of steer you in the direction of everything. So it's a nice visual representation of what's going on there. So there is what we call an association. And the association, when you're putting the arrow down, you can say something like this. A huckleberry may have the color of blue. A cherry may have the color of red. And that's what you say. You always use kind of like a quotation here describing what the association is. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Look at animals, for example. Animals can be associated with the class that they are in. For example, describe this relation in words. The relation shows the association belongs to the class between a set of animals and classes. What do I mean by this? Well, I've got a group of animals here, and I've got their class. Now, class means this is how they're going to kind of order things in animals. For example, you know and I know an ant is an insect. But what you would say here, if you're doing this, you would say that through this association, an ant belongs to the class of insect. So we can go like this. An ant, there's insect. An ant belongs to the class of insect. I guess what you're looking at here is you're trying to be as formal as possible. And this is like formal math language. An eagle belongs to the class of aves. Aves is birds, okay? Like aviator, those things that can fly. Snake. And you'll also notice that I've got down here turtle. Turtle. Okay? Both of these guys are part of the reptile family. Reptile. There we go. And you would just go thunk, thunk. And last but not least is a whale. And a whale, actually, surprisingly enough, is a mammal. It's not a fish, which is kind of cool. That's how these things work. So you can also put down here and say something that represent this relation as an arrow diagram, which we did, but you can also represent them as a set of ordered pairs. Notice that we talked about tables here, we talked about arrow diagrams, but now we can look at things in terms of a set of ordered pairs, which is kind of neat. How would we do this? Well, okay, real simple. Go back to the top here and say, okay, I have an ant and that's an insect. So you can write it down as ant, comma, insect. That's an ordered pair. Okay? The next one was eagle and aves. So you would go eagle and comma, aves. This is how you do ordered pairs all the way through. So there's our snake and comma, reptile. And then finally, oh, got two more, sorry. There's our turtle, which is also part of the reptile family. And last but not least, our whale, which is part of the mammal family. So you see how these are three different representations of information. And that's what we're trying to do in this particular unit, is keep things all nice and ordered for us.